Hello, everyone. Today, I decided to talk about a topic that's not so serious. There's a lot going on in the world, and we're basically not allowed to speak about the important issues going on these days. You speak about something very important, you'll get banned and have your videos deleted off of YouTube, which has happened to me multiple times already. But I am streaming this to YouTube as well because I don't believe I will break any of YouTube's community standards. Because today I will be talking about the intersection between gender identity and sexual orientation. Because there is an interaction. They are related to each other, but they are not the same thing. And I think this is what confuses people, is people think in terms of people being gay or straight, and heteronormativity is the idea that if you're a man, you're attracted to women. If you're a woman, you're attracted to men. And so people think that a trans woman is going to be attracted to men, or a trans man is going to be attracted to women. There's a lot of people who mistakenly have that idea in their heads. You know what I mean? Like, that just because you identify as one means that you're automatically going to find the opposite sex or the opposite gender identity as you as being sexually attractive. And it doesn't work that way. I can tell you that, and a lot of people can tell you that. And man, I'm going to need some more caffeine for this talk. Like, seriously, man. But I have been wanting to talk about this topic for years, actually. But I never really felt like I was an expert in the subject, being asexual and being a celibate virgin for life. I really felt like talking about sexual orientation was something that was my domain, and it's really not. But because I have experience with a lot of different kinds of people, I do want to talk about things from my perspective. So, growing up, being raised in Christianity, I didn't even know what were gay people or bisexual people or transgender people. I didn't know any of that. You know what I mean? You just hear the things that people tell you growing up, and you just assume everyone's straight. And it's weird because I find this very strange, okay? Now, people freak out if there is a children's show that has gay characters. People freak out about that. There's even a lesbian couple in My Little Pony, and a lot of people were freaking out about that. But did they ever consider how many straight couples there are in My Little Pony? Think about it. Like, what about Shining Armor and Princess Cadence, for example? And there's a lot of parents, so there's a lot of straight couples in that show. Nobody actually has sex. None of the ponies ever have sex because this is a cartoon. This is a children's show, but you still see them as couples. So when you're a child, you see people that are married. You see people that are usually, you see straight people like I do. You see married couples, husbands and wives. You see boyfriends and girlfriends, and you know that they're a couple. You know that they're in a relationship, but when you're a young child, you don't know that sex is a thing. And trust me, I didn't know. Like, I was 14 years old and I didn't know, and they started talking about it at church, and I was so confused. So I had this idea when I was a kid, like that, oh yeah, I'll probably marry some woman. That's what I thought, because that's just kind of what people do. But I didn't know sex was a thing. So then when you hit your teenage years, and then all of a sudden they start talking about sex in church, and I was the one person who didn't know that sex was a thing. My mom loaned me some books to read about sex, and they kind of grossed me out. But the point that I really want to make in this video, I really want to make the point here because I've learned some things about myself, and I've learned a lot of things about other people in recent years, and I think that people need to understand that you can be in a relationship with somebody, whether you call it a friendship, whether you call it a romantic relationship, or even whether you call it a sexual relationship. Um, People still form connections. People still have very important people in their life to them, you know? And so for me, when I was a kid, and even now as a 34-year-old adult, I look at people and I think that people should be allowed to be as straight or gay or bisexual or biromantic as they want to be. You know, I think people should be able to marry whoever they want and live with whoever they want. You know, do what they want. I feel like people should be able to do what they want, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that I myself am a sexual person. I'm not. You know, I'm chastity white rose. You know, like my whole that's part of my identity is that I don't give a fuck, literally. But I still very much believe in people's relationships. You know what I mean? Like I can appreciate I can appreciate the love between couples. You know, whether they're straight or gay or whatever they are, or polyamorous. You know, what anything goes these days. You know, it's 2021. I can appreciate the love they feel for each other. I can appreciate the strong bond they have, especially if they've known each other for years. That is true. I can appreciate it. At the same time, I'm grossed out by the fact that people have sex. And here's what's unusual about this. Me trying to figure out my own sexual orientation actually came as a result of the abortion topic. Because I was like, wait a minute, why are people having sex if they don't want children? Because I thought, well, yeah, well, the people are married and they're like, oh, hey, honey, you want a baby? Yeah, sure, let's do the sex thing. You know, that's what I thought people did. And apparently that is not the case. I was wrong, but what do I know? I'm just a sweet transvestite transsexual from Transylvania. That's I don't know shit. But anyway, then things got weird because first the abortion issue was a hot topic for a while, and I followed that for a while, and I listened to many pro-life advocates and the pro-choice people they debate with. Um, but also, another popular issue was gay marriage. I remember before gay marriage was legalized nationwide by the U.S. Supreme Court. I remember those days. Like, I lived through an era, man. Like, seriously, there was a time when people were literally arguing that gays should not be allowed to be married. And I'm like, okay, so what did the gay people do? Well, they still live together. They adopted children, or even you know, conceived children biologically by, you know, with a little help from artificial insemination sometimes, for example. They still did all the things that married people do. They just were not allowed to be called a married couple. Legalizing gay marriage only changed what they're called, but it didn't change what they are. They were always married in their heart. You know, they were always. The piece of paper from the government doesn't change that, and that's how I feel. Is that a person shouldn't need the government to tell them, you know, what their relationship is or what their name is or anything. But at the same time, the government changes as the people change. And of course, that's probably why our government is as shitty as it is, because people are messed up. But anyway, that's beside the point. I was trying to figure all this out, and I'm like, why in the world is gay marriage an issue? Just let them get married; it makes them happy. I still don't understand the fight over abortion laws. I still don't get it. And if I was a sexual person, perhaps I would understand that. Um, but it doesn't make it any easier. But I've had to move beyond that topic and just focus on the rest of my life. But there is a phenomenon, there is something that has been happening my whole life that has really confused me. I have had so many people ask me if I'm gay. I even had one of my friends say that I was the gayest non-homosexual they ever knew. And that was the best compliment I ever received in my life. Um, but yeah, what is it about me that people are always asking me if I'm gay? More importantly, if I am gay, then what are they going to do about it? You know, like, oh, it's funny, but because, okay, let me explain something. Now, if you are a regular person, which I am not, then you typically don't have people asking you if you're gay. If you're a normal person, if you fit into the gender stereotypes, like if you're a man, like if you're a man and you play football and you drive a big truck and all that stuff, um, then people don't ask you if you're gay. But if you're somebody like me, then people ask you if you're gay a lot. And why is that? Well, I think I figured it out, or I at least have a number of theories. There is an energy. There is an energy that people who are different put off. There's a certain energy. It could be, I don't know, maybe it's sound waves that are not possible to hear, or perhaps it's a smell. I don't know what it is. But there are many people that swear that they have a gaydar, which is a short term for a gay radar, and they know who's gay, or maybe not gay necessarily, but they know somebody who's different. And because I've always been very different, I have set off a lot of people's gaydar, and for some reason I'm proud of that fact, and I don't know why. But anyway, so I've had a lot of people ask me if I'm gay, and I usually tell them, as Honesty the Unicorn suggested, that it's complicated, because it is complicated. But it's so complicated that I need to do an entire video like this to explain to you just how complicated it is to figure out. Because it depends on your definition of gay. Because gay used to mean happy, and now it means homosexual. Now, I am happy right now, but I'm not a homosexual. I'm far, far worse than that. Let me tell you. So, here's the thing. If you define, somebody being gay as somebody who does, sexual things with their genitals or whatever of someone of the same sex, if that's your definition, that being gay is a physical act, then no, I'm not gay. But I don't think that being gay or straight is an act. I think there are homosexual acts and heterosexual acts, I do. But I don't think that being gay or straight or bisexual or asexual, I don't think that these are actions. No. What are they then? These are feelings. These are how you feel. And how do I feel? I feel very gay. Oh, it's the caffeine. I love my caffeine. I am such an addict. Also, I'm high on estrogen because I take my estrogen twice a day, 2 milligrams twice a day, and it makes me feel fabulous. So, here's the thing. One problem I always had with the terms gay or straight. Now, the people can be gay or straight, sexually or romantically. although I'm not sure what the difference is, because they usually go together, and I'm just so sexually and romantically confused. I really am. But the problem with being straight or gay is that you have to figure out which person is male or female, and which is the same or which is the opposite sex. It doesn't work. Now, in being the opposite sex means that there has to be only two sexes or genders. And everybody should know, I hope by this point, that being male or female biologically is not the same as being male or female in your head. So, just to be clear, biologically, I'm male and may possibly have Klinefelter syndrome. But mentally, in my head, I am female. And that is where transgender people come from. But when it comes to sexual orientation or romantic orientation, I think a person has to figure out, well, what is the same or the opposite? Or maybe it's not opposite or different. And I think that being gay, straight, or bisexual are all things that will eventually fade away because the lines are blurred. It's getting more and more confusing all the time. So a person has to wonder. Okay, this is one for the cis straight men out there. There are some cisgender straight men who are attracted to transgender women sometimes. And they worry, does liking a trans woman make me gay? That is very interesting. Because the answer is yes and no. Because if we're defining it based on the biological sex, and somebody is in a relationship with someone of the same biological sex, then it's very gay. But when you consider that someone who does a gender transition ends up looking and talking and acting a lot like somebody of that typical same biological sex, then it's also straight. So it's gay and straight. However, this is where it gets really freaky. Is that I realized that I am double gay. And here is what I mean. Okay. So I have watched so many videos. Man, I used to spend hours a day just watching videos by the many trans women of YouTube. And a lot of trans women seem to have Rose in their name. There's Rose of Dawn, there's Isla Rose, there's Rose Montoya. There's even people with Rose names that I can't even remember. But why are all the best trans women, why do they all have Rose in their name? Including me. Like, what is up with that? Like, I can't figure that out. But there's something about roses that's very transgender. It's amazing. But I realized something. When a person watches that many videos of trans women, it means you're either a trans woman yourself, or it could mean you are very attracted to trans women, or both. And so what I'm realizing is that the people that I relate to the most, and the people that if I was in a relationship with someone, like if I was that kind of person to be in a romantic or sexual relationship, it would most likely be another trans woman. And that's what I realized. It just because there's something about that's amazing, because when two trans women or two trans men, I'm just talking about trans women right now, because that's about how I feel, is if there's two trans women that are in a relationship with each other, regardless of whether that's a physical or just emotional relationship. It's double gay because they're both men, but they're also both women at the same time. But it gets even better than that because I also realized that when you have a trans man and a trans woman in a relationship, well, they're still both. So that's also double gay. Or is it double straight? Or is it double straight and double gay? What is this? Like, when you think about it, once everybody is turning transgender these days, it's like nobody knows who's straight or gay. And maybe we're all a little of both. So that is my thought process. That is the kind of weird stuff that goes on in my head as I try to figure these things out. And so I suppose next time somebody asks me why I am gay, why am I so gay, this video will be my answer. Because I am very gay. At the same time, I don't want to be misunderstood either. Because I'm also asexual. Because I literally will not fuck with anybody. I won't. And I'm a virgin for life. Celibacy is my thing because, quite honestly, human bodies are very gross. But I'm gay emotionally. And that's the full story of what I have realized about gender identity and sexual orientation. And I will continue to set off people's gay art because I'm very different. I am a unique unicorn. I hope that something I said in this video made sense to someone and helped them in their struggle to understand themselves. But I have a weird feeling that I'm just talking random nonsense. So, which is it? You tell me. Leave some comments. Now I got to get ready to go to my mom's place this weekend. And I will see you in the next live stream. Or rather, you'll see me. I can't see anybody. Never mind. You know what I mean. Oh, be excellent to each other. And party on, dude.